Hey guys, I'm back with another book review. This one is for Beloved. Um, this is my second Miss Toni Morrison book, and boy, do you have to use all of your brain cells when you are trying to read her books. I had to Google so many things because it's like so many things. The way she writes, it just like flies over your head. The best way I can describe it is you feel it in your soul, you know it, but you just don't have like the exact words for it. So I was having to Google things and figure things out. I can also describe it as like if you've watched the last two Super Bowls, you know how like you watched it, there was so much like symmetry, or is it symmetry? I don't know. I don't think that's the right word, but there were so many like things in there that like you're like, well, what does this mean? And what does that mean? And people were like breaking it down and analyzing it online. And you have to know like certain facts within history and time and different things like that to totally grasp and understand her novel. But once you're in her world and you're like not afraid to like Google and take it beyond just the pages of what's there, it's such a beautiful story. Now, this story is very, very, very sad. It deals with a formerly enslaved woman who runs away, and she's living in this house that's haunted by the spirit of her daughter. So within that, what I took from the story, how I looked at it was at some point this daughter comes to be in human form, and so then she's in this home and she has both of her daughters. She has her I will say spirit daughter, Beloved, which she gets that name because it's what's engraved on her tombstone. And then she has her actual living daughter, Denver. And through this process, Denver is very, very, very protective of Beloved. I don't know if from day one she understands who Beloved is, or if she's just happy to have someone with her, because their house is like kind of that house, like, oh, you don't want to go over there, they're weird, type vibes. So they're very like outcasts within their community because of, the death of the daughter. So um Denver is very, very protective of Beloved, and she wants to like take care of her and show her everything, and she just tries to keep her out of her mom's hair or whatnot. The mom is trying to be like, hospitable to Beloved and take care of her just like she takes care of her daughter. She loves them both, and she doesn't realize, I don't think, until more towards the end of who Beloved actually is. And then we also learn why Denver is willing to take so much care of Beloved and why she treats her the way that she does as well. So, also within that, you can kind of see Denver as the future and Beloved as the past. And you have this mom in between. So, she has her future and she has her past. And that comes to haunt her because she's constantly living in the past due to the regret of the death of her daughter. And once she realizes that that's her daughter, Beloved begins to consume her. Like, she just can't get enough. She's in a grown woman's body. She's the age that she would have been had she lived, yet she has the mind of a child. And it's all like, this is my mom, mine, mine, mine. And she can't get enough. She just wants any and all of Sita's attention. And Denver is like kind of watching all of this, and Denver's kind of like, super quiet and timid and doesn't know how to go out into the real world because they've been outcast, and so they've lived in their little bubble. But through all of this, Denver does start to come into her own self and push out into the world so that she can become who she needs to become as a person. And again, like I said, it's like the future and the past, and it just kind of shows us what that looks like when we are stuck in the past, because a lot of us do get stuck in the past and we cannot be in the present or even move towards our future. And that's what happens to Sita. She just becomes so consumed with Beloved, and it's like she's basically losing her mind and Beloved is just like sucking all the energy out of her, and she can't even see what's going on with Denver. Denver's just over here doing her own thing and growing up and doing, the right thing. She still wants to take care of her mom and help her mom and stuff like that. And then intertwined with all that is the big general picture of how um, being enslaved took such a toll on the African American person, how it trickles down into generations, how the physical and mental stress of that plays a role in everything. You have a female main character, and then you have like a male character who's pretty like relevant in the story, and then you have like some background characters. And so the female main character, Sita, and then the male main character, Paul D, um, they knew each other from the plantation that they were on, and it's like 18 years after they left, like ran away, I think. I want to say. I don't know, it's like leaving my mind, but like ran away, and then they meet up again and they talk about like things that happened on the plantation, and you know, you're kind of seeing like the different perspectives, and it does a big focus on like the female perspective and like um being assaulted and still having to go on, still having to be a mom, still having to take care of your kids. It talks about like her mother-in-law, I believe, who gave birth to, I want to say 8 kids, but she only got to see one grow up because she had to give away her others and she didn't really care. Not that she didn't care, but she couldn't get attached. I shouldn't say care, that's like very insensitive. She couldn't get attached to them because they had to go away. And then you have Sita, who never knew her mother because they say like after, I want to say like 10 days of giving birth, she had to go back into the fields. So you're just seeing all this trauma and the toll that it takes and the choices that you make. And even the choice that Sita made with her children and the responsibility of the death of her daughter. And the story is just hauntingly beautiful, I guess you can say. Toni Morrison does such a good job of making you like feel whatever it is that she's trying to write. And like I said, you can feel it even if you can't like totally process 100% what's going on. Like you feel it inside of you. And there's like this passage in there that when I started the book, I started reading with my daughter, but then it was just like too much. I let her kind of get a feel for this stuff because I want to at least introduce her to it. If she can't make it all the way through, that's fine. It is a rough read, it's rough for adults. But while reading it, like I would try to break things down for her as much as I can. And even like I said, Google things. So I was like Googling a passage where Paul D is talking about Mr. who's a chicken. And he's like, like basically like this chicken got to walk around and be a chicken, but I couldn't even walk around and be a man. Like, no matter what happened to that chicken, he would always be who he's supposed to be. But I'm never going to be who I was supposed to be. I don't have a choice. I couldn't be a man. And even to this day, that affects me. And it talks about how all his pain is locked up in this like tin, which is like, I think the tin for like chewing tobacco or something like that. I don't know. But it's just locked up in there, shut tight, rusted type of thing, and he can't let it out. And the way him and Sita like interact and just know when to like stop before the pain gets to be too much for either of them, and how they like, I don't know, like back each other up. It's such a beautiful story, but it's engulfed in so much pain and like sadness and stuff and just disbelief. And again, like I always say, like another perspective to see and look at as far as when it comes to the enslavement of Black people and things and the trickle down effect to that it holds on to even today. Um, so if you're a reader and you like to read, highly recommend this. It does also have a book if you don't know that. I mean, not a book. what am I doing? A movie. If you don't know that, a lot of people say the book is so much better than the movie. I personally enjoy both. They're a little bit different. The movie's older, but highly recommend. Into the next one. Bye.